We're going to a Game 5 in the NBL Championship Series between Melbourne and Illawarra. Today we're going to be talking about that. We're talking about some NBA stuff. We've got some great viewer topics. And you're here in the no-flop zone. I'm Boti Nagy. This is Joey Wright, the always insightful and delightful Joey Wright.
Thank you for that.
We're looking for some more subscribers because we're still hovering in that 600, near 700 mark. We want to get it up to 1,000. So if you're watching regularly, just push the subscribe button. We're not going to take your firstborn or anything. It's as simple as just pushing a button. Joey, let's go.
Let's go.
How about that Game 4? Let's start with Game 3 because, again, Illawarra had that one. You thought going in the last quarter they hit, they're 71-61 up.
They seem to have a few fourth quarter fades at home. I think a lot of the big stars haven't stepped up for Illawarra in the fourth quarter. Nope. You know, Dave Hickey stepped up and some of the other guys, but we really hadn't seen Trey Kell step up like he should have in the fourth quarter. I'm
sorry, but Trey Kell is stinking. You know, for who he was during the regular season and for who I rate him at as a player, like an all-round good basketball player, he's given him nothing.
This is what you have to do. All right, you have to take a player like Trey Kell and average everything out over the games he's missed as well. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you got great averages while you play, but we need you to play. You got to get out there on the basketball court. So at the end of the year, we should look at his overall averages and not just what he averaged when he played. Because, dude, you got to get on the court. It's finals time. It's fifth game, fourth game, whatever it is, get out there and play.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. Because when he went down in Game 4, he slipped. And he lay there and, you know, oh, woe is me, and some of the sniper got him. You know, it didn't look that bad. I've got to be honest, it didn't look that bad. And for him to then be taken off and then go into the change rooms, like, you're playing Game 4 of a championship.
It's a couple minutes left. It's a couple minutes left. Stay.
Yeah.
You know, see what's good. If they can't figure it out there, then not.
And at the same time, Melbourne, so professional, so experienced. All the guys that have to step up.
Yep.
You know, Dellavedova, he was magnificent in that game.
He was. In that third game, I thought he was really good. Probably the best game I've seen him play ever. Yeah,
I've heard that said a couple of times. There was a game he played for Melbourne United against Illawarra.
That's just big shots, though. Yeah, he just hit big shots that game. I remember the 30-ball game. He was, trying to prepare for the Olympics. He was.
Look at me.
Look at me. Which might be with Brian next year. I'm hearing a little rumors.
Okay.
It might be in Sydney next year. We'll see.
But that was, I agree in terms of getting your team to win. He did all the right things in that particular game.
And I just love Delly, period. Just, his hustle and thing. He'll do something a little bit outside the box every now and then like he did last year in the finals. But just as who he is as a player, I mean, obviously never coached. I've actually never met Delly before.
He's a lovely guy.
Yeah, I've never met him before.
Typical country boy. Yeah. Really good.
But, what he represents is just something to hold on to.
Yeah. So then they get Game 4 again. So they get Game 3, they go to Melbourne, and I'm thinking, as I said, if Melbourne is going to win this championship, they're going to win it in 4 games, and that was the one they had to win. We'll talk about Game 5 later. But okay, so, and like, Trey Kell's not playing, which, okay, fair enough. Shea Ili's playing,
not fair enough. No, he should be out there. He should be out there playing. I mean, whatever's going on, you got to get out there and play in that situation. You can't watch your players. If nothing else, let's say nothing else, he's 6'5", 6'6". If we need him on the end of the game, just to inbound the ball. You ain't got to run. You ain't got to move. You're 6'6". It's 0.7 seconds. We need someone that can pass the ball up high, over the top of everybody. Trey Kell sub in.
Yeah.
Boom. Throw the pass, dunk, we win the game. Like, come on, bro. Get out there.
Yeah. When I say fair enough, I mean, well, fair enough if he's hurt. But I mean,
and he might be hurt. I'm not debating that. We can't debate that.
No, we can't debate that. But it just,
I'm saying play hurt.
The difference between him going down hurt and Sam Froling going down hurt is chalk and cheese. Because with an Australian player, if they go down and I don't see Aussies lying on the floor and going, doing the Montrez Harrell and all that kind of bullshit. We don't do that shit. You guys bring that.
You sure?
Absolutely. When an American goes down, I always wait and see, did actually anything happen? Let's see the replay. Oh, no, nothing happened. And LeBron James is the world leader in that kind of stuff.
Well, I won't divide that between American and Australian, but I will say in today's generation, they roll around and flop a little bit too long for me. We had a rule don't ever let an opposition see you hurt. Like that was a rule. Like you can't see me hurt because that's going to provide.
You said that to Australians, though, right? Not to Americans.
Everybody, Americans, everybody. Let's get up off the floor. We can't be hurt. Let's
Do you
go.
remember Jerome Randall bumping into AJ Ogilvy? What was he out for 3 years after that? Oh, come on!
I was out for 3 years after that.
Get back on the floor. But what I'm saying is, Sam Froling, you see him land awkwardly. Yeah. And what does he do? He tries to run it off. Yeah. And it's like, no, this actually could be serious. Yeah. And then where is he? Is he back in the change room? No, he's there sitting with his team, trying to help them in some way and be inspirational. I like that, really like that. But his absence in Game 5, we'll get to that. But the fact that Lockie Olbrich lifted, Mason Peatling, I thought, did not get enough credit from the commentary because I thought he did a lot of really good things.
Great job.
Yeah, 100% agree. And Darius Days also gave him enough.
Look, they're going to have to show a lot more fight out of Darius Days in the 5th game. They're going to need to step up.
Yep.
Lockie's going to need to step up and just play with a little bit more aggression. I thought they did a great job, but I've seen a little bit of a little indecision in their eyes. I mean, Darius Days catches that ball on the 3-point line, looks left, looks right, and then shoots. When he's been looking straight the whole year.
Yep.
Even Lockie, he threw about 4 fakes in there, and I was like, dunk,
do it.
Go.
And there was one where he caught it in the middle of the key one. He didn't know what to do. He was looking left, looking right, and then passed it out. I was like, just shoot the damn.
So I think they need to show a little bit more aggression in the 5th game and show, we're here and we're going to get this thing done. And both of them are young, and both of them can be the future. So let's show.
Luckie's 20. You tend to forget that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So,
great player.
So we got Dave O'Hickey playing out of his skull.
Yeah, Dave just gets out there and play. This is what I love about players like Dave. If you just play hard all the time, just play hard all the time. It doesn't matter if it's the preseason game. It doesn't matter if it's the 2nd game of the season. It doesn't matter if it's the 2nd game of the series. If you just play hard. It's the players that try to temper their emotions when they're out there. I'll play hard because it's the 1st game of the year. I'll play hard because it's the finals game. Well, when it's not that, then the nerves start to creep in. Dave Hickey plays one way all day. Love it.
Yeah, and I guess you get the same from Dellavedova.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, you always know what you're going to get from that.
You know what you're going to get. He's going to get out there and play his butt off, play hard, and that's why coaches, Delly will have a job as long as he wants to play basketball for that reason.
Yep.
He could be 50, he's still going to play hard.
All right. I don't want to see him in walking basketball.
Well, he looks 50 now anyway.
Okay, let's talk Jack White because, again, once he went to the free throw line, that glazed look came over him, and honestly, in Game 5, I'm letting him get the ball early and fouling him, and putting him on the line and messing with his head straight away.
And if I'm Dean, I'm going to just give him a little slap across the face a little bit and wake him up. Because that glazed look is so obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the camera's probably not doing him any justice because they're like, boom. And he's like, oh, Lord, I have to get up there and get up there and just go. Somebody just need to come give him a little slap on the butt hard.
So good in Game 3. So good in Game 3. They went to him in the first play, hits a 3, he's off and running, and had a really good game. He was another reason that they won that Game 3 in Wollongong.
Oh, definitely. He was really good in that game, but he needs to be a little bit more consistent. As a coach, it's really, really hard to not know what you're going to get because you're waiting. And you go, okay, I'll leave him in a couple of minutes. He'll get going. You're waiting, and and all of a sudden you wasted 12 minutes of a game that you could have had somebody else in because you know what his high point is, his potential to get to the top and win you a game.
We've all done that as coaches.
Yeah.
You leave someone in there, and later you go, oh, I should have taken him out. They were stinking today. Yeah, but I mean, again, I'd go after him. Chris Goulding missed his first 7 shots, but in fairness to him, he took a couple of bad shots in there because he hadn't touched the ball. If you watch the start of Game 4 for the first several offenses, he's not touching the ball. And then the first time he did, it went up and he took a bunch of bad shots. But then he got a flop warning. And he should have got a flop tech foul a little bit later on. But
he should have got a tech on that one. He went flying through the screen, and I thought everybody kind of froze a little bit, but yeah.
But he came good. He's always, down the stretch, he still made a couple of more.
He made some tough shots and some big shots. I don't think he worked as hard off the ball as I've seen him before.
Right.
It just looked like a little fatigue there. It looked like something was going on that wasn't typically him. He typically works a little bit harder to get the ball, but they didn't look at him a lot. That's the difference in Delly playing the point versus Shea playing the point. Shea does get the ball to Goulding a lot more.
Yes.
Like if I'm Goulding, I want Shea at that point guard versus Delly. Delly looks to get into his offense a little bit more than I would like. I like Goulding taking those shots.
So what do you think happened to Melbourne? I mean, they won Game 3 so professionally, so clinically gone about it and said, okay, you had your chance, you had us on the ropes, you couldn't finish us off, bang, we're taking you out. I actually, as I had predicted, Melbourne in 4 games. I thought, well, that's it. It's done.
Melbourne in 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, 4
like
games,
that.
5 games.
The viewers know I picked Melbourne in 4 or Illawarra in 5.
Viewers, can you guys tell him you can't do that?
You can. We're talking to both.
Neither one of us have ever made a sports bet in our life, but I don't think you can go just bet on everybody.
I bet on a Melbourne Cup about 12 years ago.
You bet on every horse?
No.
Give me $5 on every horse.
What if that would work?
I don't know if you can you do that? I don't know.
Anyway, like, what do you think happened to them? Because psychologically, they had all, and then you lose Sam Froling. You're watching him. Trey Kell's not playing.
Some focus was dropped as a result of Sam going out and Trey Kell not being there, and I think maybe Melbourne going, we can do this. Let's just go. And then I seen a couple knockout shots in the third quarter. Like, you can't knock a team out in the third quarter. That's not the shot you want to take. It should have been about a 2 or 3 minute period there where Melbourne said, we're just going to make you grind. Yeah. You guys are low on bodies. You only got one guy with energy. I was sitting watching the game with someone. I said, there's one person out there that's never going to get tired, and that's Will Hickey. And on both teams, it was a point where both teams were dragging. And the only person was Will Hickey. And he was able to make a difference in the game at that particular time. But I think Melbourne went for the knockout punch a little bit too early. And I think when it didn't happen, it was a little bit of panic there. And then, okay, we got to make some shots. Fatigue set in, and then all of a sudden they were behind the ball. And so I just think it was a slow grind. The other way, I think they should have just worked Wollongong a lot more. Just worked them harder and seen what happened.
Okay, well, we've got Game 5 coming up on Sunday. So next time we record, we will have an NBL champion. And I'm in a win-win here because I said Illawarra will win it in 5. Pre-season, a certain person, I won't mention any names, picked Sydney to win the championship. Sydney.
Which was a fair gamble.
It was. Someone else picked Melbourne. So I'm in a win-win here. Melbourne win, yeah. Illawarra win, yeah. All right, we got some viewers' topics. Right. Again, some really good ones here. Some are quite long, but anyway, this one's from Aaron Agogol. He said, will we ever get to see a book on Joey? Maybe call it The Right Way. And what would you like, Joey, what would you like to be included if such a thing was written? By some journalist you might not.
Look, I'll probably at somewhere will write something. Mick Hill, the other day, I'd seen him last weekend, and he has all the old footage from our 2007. He started pulling out stuff that I hadn't seen in so long. It was amazing. So it's a lot of footage and a lot of stuff that's been captured that's out there that probably need to be rearranged and put together.
Okay. But so, all right. So, and this one I think is, for me, it says if you got the chance to sit down and interview any past or present player from anywhere in the world, who would you choose? Wilt Chamberlain would be one. I would love to sit with Wilt Chamberlain and do a really decent interview with him if he was still alive, because I think a lot of the things that he achieved as a player was at a time when there were a lot of these old white sports writers who didn't like these Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, these black boys that don't know their place, that sort of thing. I think Wilt Chamberlain was put down a lot. And when you look at his record as an individual player, not as a championship, that we're talking Bill Russell if we want to talk championships, but just what he achieved and the sort of stats, I would love to sit there and really pick his brain. I think that would be a great
that would be really interesting. For me, Muhammad Ali, no question.
Yeah.
To sit down with him, which I've met him once, but it obviously wasn't an interview, but to sit down with him and pick his brain, for him to be such a great athlete, but also be a social activist at the same time and really change the climate in America. He was strong enough as an athlete to speak his piece to the media at that particular time, who was obviously trying to tear him apart. but he was such a great character, had such great character and a great human being. It was really hard to pick him apart.
He's got no argument with the Vietnamese. I love that. Yeah. Okay. I've been watching highlights from old 36ers games. This is just some ideas for us. Thanks very much, Aaron. We'll look into that. Who have been the pranksters over the years in your careers, and does anyone try to interrupt you when they know you're doing the show, phone calls, etc.? Well, I'll tell you, there's a rule in TV, radio, and podcasting that if your phone goes off while you're recording, you're obliged to buy everybody lunch. So we all have them on silent or off. But pranksters, let's talk.
I think mine's on right now.
Well, somebody ring Joey.
Contrary to belief, I'm probably the biggest prankster that I know around basketball, and I'd probably get myself in a lot of trouble for it. People see my persona on the side of the court and would think I'm a pretty serious guy. As you know, when you get a text at 12 o'clock at night, I don't mind a joke at all.
Yeah, for me it was Paul Rees. He used to, with the 36ers, during warm-ups in home games, halfway through the warm-up, he would often jog off down into the change rooms. Everybody was, wondering, he'd jog back out and continue. Everyone was wondering whether he was going to the toilet or what was this little ritual. And so they had somebody from the team trail him, and they found that what he did was he would run to his locker, open it up, take out his wallet, check that all his money was still there, close his locker, and go back and keep warming up. Like, what are you expecting to happen during the warm-up? Anyway.
I am not surprised at all. That is the tightest man I've ever met, Paul Rees.
Okay, what goes on behind the scenes to get a player settled when they come to Australia, or even from another team? But let's go from first time to Australia. What
look, I had the best in the business, Big Joe. So a player would land, he would have a phone ready for him that would last a couple weeks. He would have some milk and bread and butter and few things, and he would always throw Vegemite in there.
Yeah, good.
So he'd have a few things ready for him to go in the fridge. Car should be already filled up, ready to go. Bedding and sheets and all that stuff should be done and ready to go. And let's get them totally comfortable, good night rest, and get them in practice the next day.
Right. Okay. This one's from Dick Harden. No, I wondered if that was a porn name.
This might be a little.
No, it was an email, and I emailed him back to make sure that Dick Harden was a legitimate human being, and he is. I don't know.
Well, anybody can come up with an email.
Okay. Anyway, he said, "Gents, it's a good start. Your show is called No Flop Zone, but Joey regularly compliments notable floppers, CJ43 and Bryce Cotton, for their ability to draw fouls from opponents. Is it time to change the show's name or the definition of flopping?" Well, let me just say, we call the No Flop Zone.
That's a great question, by the way.
Yeah. But we call the No Flop Zone because it's no bullshit. Okay, it's not so much about flopping, it's about not putting on rose-coloured glasses and saying, oh, he's great, he's the greatest of all time. We don't do that sort of stuff. So that's where the name comes from. But it's a good question because you do compliment these guys for being able to draw fouls for what I would consider cheating.
I don't consider it cheating. I think if they're good enough to put themselves in a position for success and put the defense in a position for defeat, then they're just great basketball players. Why isn't everybody doing it then?
Yeah,
why isn't everybody doing it?
Because it's cheating.
It's actually
cheating.
It's not cheating. So a shot fake's a cheat.
No. Actually, you said that the other week. Mm-hmm. That's the big difference. When I shot fake you and you jump onto me, or you shot fake me, and I fall for it, that's you beating your opponent. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Flopping is you're trying to con the referee into giving you something that wasn't there. So you're cheating.
But the referee job is to go, you know what? Nothing there. Flop. That's the referee. We have rules in place, and every great player is going to use those rules to the T, all the way to the bottom. They're not gonna go, I could do that, but it's against the rules. No, they're gonna use it, and then it's your job to take care of it.
Okay.
So once again, you can go out and foul someone. It's not a foul unless the ref calls it.
Right.
So it's on the ref. It's on the ref. The ref should be good enough to go, that's not happening. Flop warning or flop or technical, and go the other way.
Yeah. Okay, but that's why I'm not someone that lives in the past, but that's the difficulty I have with comparing today's stars with yesterday's stars. Because as much as I admire Bryce Cotton
Then how much do you admire Andrew Gaze? Because I
no,
admire...
Leroy Loggins is my man, and Leroy never did anything.
Okay.
That
Once
wasn't
again,
within the
I'm
rules.
going to go back to the biggest star and one of my favorite players, Andrew Gaze. He flopped all the time, and I thought he was just smart enough to get away with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you can hear that, but a phone is going off.
I knew it was on too. I knew it was. Hey, does the alarm matter? Because I'm usually getting up at this time to come here yet. I knew that was on. I knew my ring was on. Well, lunch it is.
Lunch it is, and steak place of the goodness. All right, well, but no. Okay, so you're talking about Andrew Gaze specifically.
Yeah.
But I'm talking like, I didn't see Larry Bird. So let's go back to Larry Bird, Irvin Johnson era, which was really I think the heyday of the NBA when it really arrived worldwide. Those guys didn't do that stuff. They didn't do that stuff.
No.
And LeBron James, you could fall over when you walk past him, and he's clutching his head. And it's like, I can't respect that.
I don't respect that at all. That's faking pain. Like, I don't, that right there. Like, let's get up, let's move on. But I think if you can put a player in position, not kicking your legs out, none of that stuff. I just think they elevate on their shot. Both of them get into what's called a sweep and sway position. Their shoulders are back, their feet are out. That's not. We actually teach people that. So I think that they're just getting into that shot. And Bryce elevates so high on his shot, and he's in the air so long that the other person's continue. So I just think it's a product of the way they shoot as much as I don't think they're out there saying, let me draw a foul right now.
Okay. Quick segue. When you're teaching dribbling, are you teaching carrying the ball now? Because the way Delly in particular will get his hand right under the ball.
Well, I will say we blur the lines. I mean, that hand on side the ball is what we teach. So we don't teach under the ball, but we definitely teach on side.
Ballaholic is back. He says, Joey, as coach, how do you stay focused when your team isn't performing well? Is it hard to block out the thoughts you might be getting the sack when you're watching your team lose regularly, when you're in that sort of scenario? How does it impact on you personally?
That's interesting, Ballaholic, but I literally never, ever thought about losing a job while doing a game. Like, I've never once ever, that thought has never crossed my mind that, if we lose this, I'm out of here. Like, I know, but
more so, say you get a run of, say, 3 or 4 losses in a row, and you're sitting at home contemplating training for the next day. Like, in that moment, does it ever sort of come like, oh, geez, we're in a bit of a pickle here, we need to win here? Or
and this is not just a sporting thing, I am of the belief that if someone doesn't want me there, then I shouldn't be there. Right. Like, I have never, ever, like, even in my personal relationships and friendships or relationships with females or job or whatever it is, if you don't want me there, then I think that's totally a great reason for me not to be there. So if I'm working at a club, whether it's, Brisbane, Gold Coast, or Adelaide, and at some point in time the owners was like, this is not working out, thanks for the opportunity. It's no bad feelings.
Okay, so that doesn't plague you. I wonder though, across coaches, whether everybody has that sort of self-confidence that you might have.
No, I purposely set myself up so that when I started coaching, I didn't make any financial decisions. So I never had to make a decision where if I don't do this, then I can't eat tomorrow. I've seen coaches make decisions based on that.
Yeah.
I never want to be that. So I took 7 years to prepare myself to coach.
Right.
So for 7 years, I worked so that I could coach the way I wanted to coach. So I always just tried to stay away from that.
Okay, you've indicated the reason why you're not coaching anymore. I'm presuming this means at an elite level. Previously, would you consider a commentating role if the opportunity came up? And could you bring Steve Carfino back when you do? Or I'll answer the second part. No, don't bring anybody else back from the old days except John Casey. John Casey should be calling every game.
Yeah, John Casey's excellent.
Commentating, Joey.
Not even a little bit.
Come on, Avery
not
Brooks.
Even one. I would have no. To run a script, to go through something, or have to lean one way because it's the owner's team or the league's this and that. No, I couldn't do it. I would last probably 2 hours, and at the end of that game, they'd be like, we don't want you back. Don't come back. No, I wouldn't be good. I like the guys that are doing it now. I do think they do a great job. So I think we got a good crew of commentators right now. Just let them roll.
Okay, you're on your own there. Could Adam Forde have an opportunity as an NBA scout? He has a proven record of finding talent that no one else noticed. He's like Sam Wardenbergs and all these sort of guys standing in. It's over
That's
time.
not scouting though. I did the NBA job, NBA scouting job for a year, and I thought the same thing. You know, I've had a great track record of finding talent and this and that. You're not doing that. That's not what you're doing. The team is going to give you 7, 8, 10 guys to follow, and you're basically a little bit of a private eye type. You go out there and just make sure who they are. So you scout their personalities, right. You scout their work ethic, it's a bunch of things you're trying to ascertain, but how good they are is not the scout's job. It's a guy sitting at a desk somewhere saying,
check this fellow out. Yeah, we've already looked. Okay.
Yeah, I was very disappointed after a year of doing it.
All right, this one is, at grassroots level, all kids have an idol they emulate. However, with the game played the way it is now, it's hard to trying to get through to them that a 3-on-1 fast break, the step back 3 isn't your first option.
I've seen a charge on a 3-on-1 fast break. Yeah. A charge on a 3-on-1 fast break.
Good defender. Very good defender. So how do you handle that? He says, I'm old school when coaching, and when you make decisions like that, you get to sit next to me for a while. In this day and age, though, it's not always a popular approach. How would you handle it?
Look, I still was coach shot selection. I mean, not a lot of coaches right now coach shot selection. You know, it's a lot of, if you can get it off, it's a great shot. I don't believe that. Like we should be. I kind of operate in 3 rules. If you're open, shoot the ball. Somebody's open, pass the ball. Nobody's open, create or use the offense. Right. Just kept it that simple.
Yeah. Well, those are good rules. I wish I'd known that when I was coaching. Mine was like, let's work for the uncontested shot. All right. Glenn M has got, both final games have been very entertaining. That's now 4. Your thoughts on both teams taking free throws in game 2 before coaches could issue a coach's challenge for a foul call? That was a very clever thing, actually. Both clubs did it. That when there was a call that might be contentious, the guy got to the foul line very quickly. Yeah. You'd teach that, wouldn't you?
You would. Those coaches aren't dumb.
No, they're not.
They're there for a reason. They're really good coaches. Let's roll.
Let's take a surgical look at Game 5. I think that Illawarra at home in this game, even with the absence of Sam Froling, maybe Trey Kell does step up and plays with abandon because he's got the injury. Tyler Harvey steps up. I actually think Illawarra, as I've said all along, if it went to 5, they'll get it. Your thoughts?
I think this is going to be a tough game for both. I think Wollongong might pull this out. And them going back home. I think Trey Kell, it looked like at the end of that game, and maybe it was just what was going through my head, but it looked like he was like, just get me to game 5. Just get me to game 5. Right. And he hasn't really shown up in this series like we would expected him to. And you would think he's going to go back and do something on the home court, you know, back in Wollongong. But, you know, obviously Melbourne's been tough there, so it'll be interesting.
Other factor is probably Shea Lee plays.
I would definitely think Shea plays. That, you know, Delhi's done so well. I wonder how is that going to affect Delhi, but I'd much rather have Shea out there. Yeah. And I think Goulding plays better when Shea's on the court. So we might see a different team on both sides if the Stars step up.
But you're thinking it's Illawarra Hawks' 2nd championship, not Melbourne United's 3rd or 4th?
I think it's Illawarra Hawks championship.
So
I don't know what Melbourne, I think they let that go last night.
Well, we'll be back next week and we'll have an NBL champion.